all of a sudden they're no longer responding to your messages. They're no longer calling you back. You don't hear from them ever again.
Can you make
they're just
clip?
gone. Okay.
I fucked that up. Hey everyone.
Hi guys.
Welcome to 30 Kind of Flirty. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Joey, and we are two best friends in our early 30s, just trying to figure it out.
Yes, one day at a time.
One day at a time.
And we're so happy you're here listening.
So happy.
Hi, Mom. So, how do you feel?
I feel good. I'm excited.
Are you
excited?
I am. I'm excited for the topic we have today because it's a big one. Do you want to...
Very, very big.
Do you want to let them know?
So, you know, when you're in your early 30s, you're going to be dating. You're in the dating world. And we've all been here. Today we're talking about ghosting.
The ghost.
The ghost.
The ghost of dating past, present, probably future.
Not future.
Oh, yeah, because they're ghosting. Oh,
Not future.
They're gone.
And if any of you are fortunate enough to not know what ghosting is, it's basically when you're interacting with someone, maybe you're dating them, maybe you're in a full-blown relationship with that person, and all of a sudden, they're not responding back. They're not calling you back. They're just gone. They're in thin air. They're a ghost.
They've just ghosted.
They're ghosted.
They've left the chat officially, and they're not coming back. So that's it.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh my, triggering. Honestly.
So when we think about ghosting, do you think like there's different types of ghosting?
Yeah, I think it's all like subjective. Am I saying objective? Subjective?
Could be, yeah.
Based on how you feel about the person, for sure.
Yeah. Like I would say, even if you match with someone on Tinder, you can be talking to that person briefly. You're excited. You think they're cute.
What would you say briefly is? Like,
could be that day, could be a
Okay.
couple days. So here's an example. I was talking to someone on a dating app. We were talking, we were flirting, and we thought, hey, we should hang out sometime. And then a couple days kind of passed, and I reached out to this person again. They didn't really respond back to me. Then they blocked me. And in my mind, yeah, I was ghosted. I mean, we weren't friends. We didn't really know each other, but it hurt the ego.
well, yeah, of course it does, because that is the definition of ghosting. In my opinion, I think obviously if you feel for someone, it's going to hurt differently. It's going to hit differently, obviously. But yeah, I would say on a very like superficial level, it's an ego thing.
And,
Sucks.
and it's still a ghosting behavior.
Yeah.
And I think ghosting, that term, a lot of it comes out of recent years with the dating apps and the technology. But I think ghosting, it was always a thing. It was always something that was happening. When you think of people that were dating in the 90s or 80s, or like when our parents were younger and they were dating, you go on a few dates with someone. Maybe it was a blind date. Maybe you're going on a date with a friend of a friend. You think the date's going well. You exchange numbers, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then days go by.
Nothing.
And you don't get a call back. And you're going to your friends and you're saying, well, why isn't he calling me?
Yeah.
And you never hear from him. So like the behavior is something that I think was always around. It was just now that we have these dating apps, maybe it's just more common, maybe it's easier.
I would say for sure it's easier, because if you're not feeling anything, it's like bye.
Bye.
You don't even let's go.
Yeah,
you don't
so
have to say bye.
okay, so you're not feeling anything. So why do you think people choose to ghost?
Oh, I think it's, I don't know. It's funny because I think part of it would be like, you just don't want to have the awkward conversation. But then I think about myself in my 30s going through life, and it's like, be 30. Be in your 30s. Just tell them, hey, I'm not feeling it. And if you're afraid of like confrontation, which I know I am, block them.
And here's the thing too, when you're dating in your 20s, you're dating. You got boyfriends, you got girlfriends, you're having fun. Once you get into your 30s, I think for the most part, a lot of us are out here dating maybe more seriously. We're in our 30s. We want to settle down.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to get married. Maybe you want kids. We don't want to waste people's time.
No.
So if you're not feeling it, let me know so I can move on.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, do you think, and I don't know, but do you think that it has something to do with like if you're expressing like feelings or like asking? Here's the thing. So I don't have a lot of experience with dating apps, as you know.
Because she's so lucky.
I've been dabbling here and there, but like sometimes because I'm in my 30s, I'll make conversation like legit conversation, like not tell me something about yourself, but like, how was your day? And like build off of that. Oh, you're a teacher. Oh, that's interesting. Like, what do you teach? Whereas I think some of the millennials or Gen Z, I guess they are. I guess we're millennials, but Gen Z would be like, sup, nothing, you, nothing.
Yeah.
Good, you, good. Like one
What's
word.
your snap? What's your snap?
What's your snap? Yeah. And so I feel like sometimes by me asking like interesting questions because of my age,
Yep.
I feel like these guys are just like, whoa, she wants a relationship. She's getting too
Yeah.
deep. And then they ghost. Again, I don't have a ton of experience with it. Would you rather just have somebody give one word answers and like leave it like up to the imagination of what they're looking for? Or would you rather somebody show interest and carry on conversation?
Oh my gosh, show interest. I
you know?
cannot stand it when you're talking to someone and they just don't seem like they're interested. Makes me feel like I'm bugging them.
So you would ghost.
So you would ghost.
And that's how I feel. I feel like maybe some people ghost in this situation because maybe they're asking too much. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing because, like, again, it depends on who you're talking to, I guess.
Yeah.
It depends on what you want.
Yep. And we've talked, a lot about, okay, you're talking to someone for a little bit on the app and they've blocked you, they've ghosted you. But I know a lot of people, when you think of ghosting, it's a little bit more deeper than that, where you've actually met that person, you've actually went on dates with that person, and then they ghost. And that has happened to me. I wouldn't say it was a full-blown relationship, but I had been dating someone for about 2 months.
Who you met on?
We met on Tinder,
Okay.
but we went on a couple of dates.
Yeah.
We went to the movies. We did dinner together. I stayed over at his place a lot of times.
So like working towards a
We were
relationship.
intimate. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it was. We all, like, our friends all met. We've all hung out and stuff. Like, it was 2 months.
Yeah.
And then one week I was chatting with him or trying to chat with him, and he wasn't responding. And which was odd because we talked all the time. So, after about a day or 2 days, I just kind of messaged and said, hey, like, is something wrong? Or like, are you okay?
Right, which makes sense.
And he came back and he said, oh, like, sorry, I'm just down right now. It was September, so
Okay.
fall was coming. He was like, I just get sad. Like, I just kind of need some time alone. And it's like, valid reason. That's fine. Just tell me that.
And he wasn't going to.
No,
you
if I
had to,
hadn't
like,
have
get it
said
out-
anything,
yeah. See,
he would have.
and I don't think that that's fair because then you're putting yourself out there. So you've already been rejected once, essentially, because they've ghosted. So you're like, once again, putting yourself out there again to have another. Because then if they don't respond to that second message, it's like, okay, well, now it's confirmed that I'm being ghosted.
Yes.
So he like put you in that situation to like get it out of him. And
Yeah.
you shouldn't have had to.
Yeah.
You were cool about it.
Yeah.
And that's a good point. Like if you're talking in your situation, if you're talking to somebody as like a relationship, you kind of have an idea, you're working towards something, you know who that person is.
Yep.
You kind of know their heart a little bit. So you should, if you're going to date them, they're obviously a decent person. So you should know that they're going to react, you would hope, well.
Yep.
And if they don't, block them. At least you did your piece.
Yep.
So then that brings me to like the main questions of like when I was researching this episode, I was trying to find out like what are the big questions when you're ghosted? Like what does everybody want to know? And I came up with like I guess 3 main ones, which was why do people do it?
Yep.
Will I ever hear from them again?
Yep.
And was it me? What was it me is a big one because people automatically think that they're the issue. So we're gonna try to dive into those a little bit. And I think in Joey's situation, like your story.
Yeah. So will I hear from them again? I think
Yeah.
in most cases, when we get ghosted, usually we don't.
No.
But this person, I think it all depends on why they're ghosting. Obviously, if someone is ghosting you because they're not into you, then yeah, you're probably not going to hear from them again.
You wouldn't want to either. You don't want to force someone.
No. And this individual, like I said, he felt like he just needed some time alone. He wasn't really ready to date.
Yeah.
So 6 months down the line, he comes right back in the DMs.
He wanted it.
And he said something along the lines of like, I know I kind of fucked up, but is there any chance
You can
we
sleep with me
we can
again.
no we can hang out again? Well, listen, hey, I was in a relationship at that point. I was no longer interested, and I did get the satisfaction of saying
It felt good. Be
sorry,
like, no, I'm over you.
you've
I'm over it.
you missed it.
Yeah, so that's kind of that. So that's like a full circle ghosting where like you're ghosted, it sucks, you feel bad, you move on. So then in your case, will you hear from them again? Yes. Was it you? Obviously not. And I just want to clarify, I love the men. I am into men. That's my
yes. I love the men too.
I was
If you
gonna say,
didn't
that's my
gather that.
primary prey. We love everybody here, so it doesn't matter. And ghosts love everybody too. I guess to that point.
They love them when it suits them, and then boom, they're gone.
Then they're gone. So that's good. So in your situation, it worked out well for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so my experience with ghosting, or being ghosted, I guess, is a little bit different because it was very not a relationship at all. We had been talking on the app. I don't know for how long. I can't remember. Maybe a couple weeks.
Tinder? Like a match on Tinder?
No.
Bumble?
One of them. Bumble, maybe?
Bumble,
It wasn't
Bumble,
Tinder,
Bumble,
though,
Bumble.
for sure. I always think Tinder's like a hookup
Hinge.
site. Hinge? I don't know. He had asked my number to text me, which I'm all about text message.
Yes.
Some people are really like reluctant to give out their number. I don't care. It's way easier than opening the apps,
Yep.
especially when you're in public, and they drain your battery.
Yeah.
So I gave it to him. We had texted back and forth for like 3 or 4 days nonstop, and then I had asked him a question, and he just ghosted. And at the time, I was upset because I think it was my very first ghosting.
Mm-hmm.
This is the very first time I had been
hurts.
ghosted.
It hurts your
didn't
ego.
feel good. He didn't delete me from Instagram or like he didn't ghost me that hard, I guess, but just stopped talking to me. And I don't know.
Just a light, gentle ghosting.
A light, gentle ghosting. And had I have waited, like maybe I needed to wait like another couple days, but I didn't. I was like, no, you're not doing this. I removed him from all my socials. That was it. Done. Hadn't talked to him since. And then actually when recording this podcast, we wanted a little experiment because one of our questions was it me? Right? Like, will I hear from them again? Why do people do it? And I was like, you know what? I can add this person back to Instagram. Let's see if they add me. My photos are all over the place. They know it's me. Let me add them and see if they'll re-add.
And did he?
Right away.
Right away.
Asked me to follow me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And right
Requested
away.
to follow you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so was it me? No,
No.
it wasn't me. And will I hear from him again? I don't know if I will. I'm sure he'll be.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll delete me. I don't have any, I don't want to say use for him now, but I don't have any interest in him now. And why do people do it? It could have just been, in that situation, it could just be he was busy. He didn't get a chance to get back to me. He just wasn't feeling it. He had another thing going on with somebody else. Like, there's a million different reasons. At the time, for about 2 days, I took it pretty hard.
Especially for your first time dealing with it. Not really knowing.
And then we moved on. And so there's all different kinds. There can be mental health behind it. There can be just weren't feeling it.
And it does, regardless of the reasoning, it does all come to not wanting to deal with it, not wanting to address it.
But had he just fucking said, hey,
I
don't know what he would have said to me, though, because we had only been talking for a couple days. What is he going to say? I'm not feeling it. He doesn't really owe me anything.
No, he doesn't.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas yours did.
Yes.
And that's where I think the fine line with ghosting comes in. I think once you get past, like, what would you say, a month?
Yeah.
Or a couple weeks, maybe?
Yeah.
Then it's like a free pass if you're like within those 2 weeks. But after 2 weeks, you can.
Yeah. And that's why for me, like, when I talked earlier about this person I had just been chatting with for a couple days and then he was gone, like, I don't care. Like,
No.
I just don't care. But if you're someone that I'm actually dating, we've been on dates.
Yeah.
We've slept together.
Oh my gosh. Then they should 100% say something.
Exactly.
Now to that point.
Oh, what's that, Brett? Sorry?
So we've also been on the other side of things.
Uh-oh.
Plot twist.
Uh-oh. Have we been playing the victim card?
We have. We've been.
Hey, we're all human.
We are. And so we've also.
But yours, I mean, you do have a good reasoning behind it.
I guess.
Yeah, you do.
Physical ghosting.
So, Brittany, can you please tell me the
I
time
would
when you
love to.
ghosted someone?
Oh, it's so awkward to talk about because it was just the worst time of my life. So again, talking to somebody, for I don't know how long, maybe a week. I don't even know.
I'd say
I don't know.
It was a week or 2 weeks.
He asked me to hang out. I was down. Caveat here, though. His photos were nothing like he said he fucking looked like.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a big believer in your photos on dating apps should be no more than 6 months.
Yep, they should be recent.
I think they should be super recent. My photos are all within, like, I would say a couple months.
Listen,
I have one from last year, I think.
If you don't have recent photos, throw on a nice shirt.
And take one.
Fix your hair.
Not a mirror selfie,
wash your
though.
face and take a friggin' selfie.
Yeah.
And put it up there.
And
Throw it through a filter if you got to.
Yeah. Put it up.
Just put it up there.
Nobody cares about your photos from 2002.
No.
No, I don't care if you were like fishing champion or some sort of sports guy.
Fishing champion?
No, I don't know. People have fish. But like, I don't care. I don't fucking care that you played hockey or baseball fucking 20 years ago. I literally could care less. So put on a recent photo of yourself. Also, COVID times. I don't want to see a mask. I don't care that you know how to wear a mask.
Folks, she's getting riled up.
On what planet would you, pre-COVID, put a photo up there with a face mask on?
Right.
How ridiculous does that sound?
Yeah.
Oh, what dating app profile pics do you have? Oh, one with like a surgical mask. It's pretty hot. Mm-hmm. No! Mm-hmm. Take down the photo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
So in this situation, photos were old, outdated, whatever. I will give him a pass. Fine. Went over there, had sleepover stuff, because you never know. You got to be ready. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know? Got over there, left the stuff in the car on purpose.
Mm-hmm. What stuff? Like, if you
Sleepover
were going to
stuff.
stay over.
Yeah. Went in. First of all, he gave me the wrong door. Like, he gave me the wrong address. So I'm like knocking on someone's door, like, hey. And I was thinking at that point when the door like opened, I was like, oh, you are nothing like your photos. Like, you do not look like you said you look like. But then like he had heard me knock on the door next to him. This was an apartment building, and like popped his head out. And right away I'm like, oh my God.
No.
His outfit, and not that I'm judging, okay?
No.
I'm not. But his photos didn't represent what he looked like.
Yes, that's
so
the
like
issue.
Dressing wasn't the same hair. Anyways, so I went in because I'm sweet. I'm a sweet girl. I went in. We watched a movie. I didn't do anything with him, as I think.
And you were
I
feeling
didn't kiss
very
him.
uncomfortable the whole time.
Oh, it was awful. Anyways, I was there, a couple hours or something. He said the classic, like, let's take this into the bedroom. Or like tried to make his move. And I'm like, oh, BRB, like, I got to go get my stuff out of the
car.
I got to go get
right
my
back.
stuff. Like, I got to get, whatever. So I went to the car and I just didn't go back. And then like 15 minutes later, he had messaged and was like, hey, like,
are you okay out there?
Are you coming back? Or
did you lose your car? Like, you can't find it?
And I was long gone, blocked his ass. Like, no, we're not doing
Blocked
that.
his ass.
I did. I felt so uncomfortable. And I think I shouldn't say he didn't make me feel uncomfortable. Just the whole situation, I did not feel good.
And here's the thing too, when we're talking about ghosting in this way, going to someone's place, someone's house.
Oh,
alone,
bad idea. For the first date.
Their pictures aren't representative. You're uncomfortable. You don't know this guy.
Not at all.
So how do you know that you could have said, oh, you know what, I'm just not feeling it, I think I'm going to leave. And he could have reacted
Yeah, he could have flipped out.
badly. So I think in that case, I think any of us would probably do that as well.
Yeah.
Maybe, when you get in your car, you drive off, maybe you could have sent him a text to say, look, I'm very sorry.
I didn't even know what to say.
I did. Oh, and that actually reminds me, because I've been in that similar situation where I've been talking to someone.
Yeah.
And we talked for a long time, like a month, but he wasn't out. So he wouldn't show me his face. And I don't typically enjoy talking to people if I don't have a face picture.
What, really?
I gotta see what you look like.
Because you're fully on there, right? Like, you're on the apps, you have photos.
Yep. But I don't know.
And I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair,
Well,
not to interrupt you, but I don't think it's fair that, like, I know that it happens quite frequently, but, like, they get to see your whole life, your body, what you look like, everything, and you're going in blind. Yeah.
And now to that point, usually when I'm talking to someone and I say, hey, do you got a face pic? And they say no. Usually I'll just say, well, no, I don't chat to whatever. But for some reason, we talked on the phone, like something was being built up.
Yeah.
So I did go and I did hang out with this guy.
At his house?
At his house.
Okay.
We fooled around, but it wasn't anything big. And then, like, I stayed the night. And the plan was that we were going to hang out all day that day. And listen, this was a Sunday. This was before COVID. We're all going to the office on a Monday, 5 days a week. I just didn't want to waste my Sunday.
No.
And so my plan was, you know what? My cat needs to be fed. I got to pop on home, feed the cat, and I'll come right back. So I left, and the plan was I was done. Like that was it. I did feel bad though. So I did do the right thing, I think. And I messaged him and I just said, hey, you know what? I just wasn't feeling it.
Because you felt guilty, you said.
I did. I felt guilty.
Yeah.
And he took it okay, and that was that. But here's the thing, same as you, if I had said that to him in his house.
Well, you don't know.
I don't know him that well.
He could have been like, be right back, and just got to run to the kitchen and grab something sharp.
I mean, I guess the takeaway is that you just go meet people for a coffee first at Starbucks and not go to their house.
I'm listening to our stories, and I'm like, okay, so bad advice. Don't do that. Don't go to their house first unless
you really know them, I guess.
I would say unless you've done a few video sessions or I don't know.
Maybe just go grab a coffee first. Even if it's leading to someone's place after the coffee.
I'm trying to think all of the times that I've met a guy for the first time at their home. It didn't end well.
No.
Like it just never does. It just never does. So just meet them somewhere public first.
Yeah.
And like to that point, to Joey's point where he's talking about like he did feel guilty. Like there's a couple other ghosting stories where I've ghosted. You know, I had flown to the States one time, met somebody, and I mean obviously we were talking. So, like,
international traveler.
Find these boys internationally and go down to the States, but I wasn't feeling it down there, and like obviously I had told him. Like I'm not like a complete like you know that ghosting story was a one-off, but yeah. And then as far as the apps go, if I'm not feeling the apps or I'm not feeling who I'm talking to, I'll just delete the app.
Yeah, you.
And I just ghost. I what is it?
I do that sometimes.
Bulk ghost.
Yeah, I bulk ghost.
But I don't count that as anything because it's honestly like I don't really count ghosting on an app very serious unless like they have your text. Like if you're texting, then like. I don't. Yeah,
I think we talk about the idea of ghosting. But, you know, when you're just talking to someone on the app. But, yeah, it's not really ghosting in the sense of, like, you know, the turmoil of being ghosted.
Right.
It's just, it is the behavior of ghosting.
Yeah.
But obviously it's much worse in these relationships.
And it's never you.
And when it's worse, you always ask, well, what did I do?
Yeah. For sure.
And here's what I think.
Yeah.
When you're talking to someone, whether it's just on the apps for a little bit, you're meeting them, you're going on a few dates with someone. Yes, obviously, if they ghost you, it is a hit to your ego. It does make you feel self-conscious. You feel like, oh, what did I do? Is it my looks? Is it my personality? What's wrong with me? And the thing is, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
Like, if someone ghosts you, all it means is they weren't into you. And that's okay.
So hard to take though at the time.
But it's okay because for every person you meet that's not into you, there's going to be
10 that are.
10 that are.
Honestly.
And they're just not your person.
Yeah. And you wouldn't, I think like in retrospect, like you wouldn't want to force anything anyways. I have another friend that, just a quick ghosting story. Like he had been dating that girl for 6 months and he wasn't feeling it after month 3, but he's like, you know what? I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to stick it out, see what I can do. By month 6, she was house sitting like 40 minutes away from where they live. And she was like, oh, why don't you come spend the night? Like, why don't you come hang out? Blah, blah, blah. And at that point, he was like, no, like, I'm not feeling it. He was going to ghost her, but then thought like, no, you know, like the nice thing to do, the responsible thing, the mature thing would be to drive 40 minutes, break up with her at the door, and then drive 40 minutes home. I think in that case, I probably would have sent a text, but hey, at least he did
or a phone call.
Just something like, but that was really nice of him to do that. So there are guys out there that will tell you, or people out there that will tell you like, hey, I'm not feeling it. Like we were talking about ghosting, like it's like for every second person you talk to is going to ghost you. And no, it's not. It all depends on the person and their situation, I think. Yeah. It's never you, basically.
No.
And
yeah, there's a million reasons why it can
it's just hard to hear at the time. It's hard for like when you get ghosted for your friends to be like, oh my gosh, like it's not you, like he's this and he's that and they're this and they're that, and it's like you don't want to hear that at the time. You just want, honestly, you're asking yourself, will I hear from them again? Because that's kind of the closure you feel like you need at the time, right? You want them to come back so you can ghost them or something. I don't know. And that probably, like Joey said, like probably won't happen, and you can't like have false hope that it will. I would say our final advice on that. Like, do you have any final advice? Any final?
Yeah, I would say final advice: don't ghost people.
Yeah, don't do that.
If you're dating someone, if you're talking to someone, and you're not feeling it, just say, you know what? I'm not feeling this.
And then
you don't got to give them a reason.
No,
you can just say, I'm just not into this.
Block them. Block their ass.
No, you're trying to do the nice thing.
Yeah, but if you don't want confrontation,
No,
after
but
saying
yes,
it,
okay, yes, you can block.
block them first.
So don't ghost people.
No.
If you are ghosted, I know it hurts, but just really think, you know what? It just means that person isn't my person. Also, if that person's the kind of person to ghost, do you want to be with them?
No.
Probably not. Probably not.
No. And then obviously,
Get under someone else.
there it is. There's our Joey. Yeah, I mean, obviously talking to other boys or people
Any
is going
kind
to
of
make you feel better.
distraction. Your friends, make plans with your friends.
I'd say go for the
Go
boys.
visit your family.
Talk to boys.
Do whatever
Right?
you gotta
They're like
do.
I said, they're like there's a million other guys out there that are gonna want you, or people, just people in general. I mean, I'm trying to think.
Or
like,
you know what? Just go to the gym and just look at
oh
what's there.
God, some hats on backwards.
Just take a look at some biceps. You know, that's what I do.
My big takeaway from this is like if you're ghosted, don't triple text. Like, don't be that bitch. Mm-hmm. Like if you text and they don't respond, don't be like, hey, you there?
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, sorry, wrong text. Oh, wrong person.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So when I had when the guy that I was probably dating was ghosting me, I sent him that message. Hey, like, what's going on? Like, did I do something? If he hadn't have responded to me, I would not have messaged back. That would have been the hint. I would have taken the hint, said, okay, this is done. Removed him from everything.
That was going to be my next question.
On to someone else.
Would you have? So we're all talking about our takeaways here. We're finishing it up. Final question: do you remove them from social media?
If I'm heartbroken about it, if it's a relationship or I'm dating someone and I'm really into them and I'm heartbroken about it,
you're going to mute
I'm
them?
either going to mute them or remove them. If it's someone that, you know what, went a few dates, I don't really care. Maybe I would remove them. Maybe I wouldn't. I don't always think about removing people.
I've always removed the one person that ghosted me. I removed them right from social media, right off the top. You should do it. If you're contemplating if you should, you probably should.
Yeah.
That would be our advice.
Yeah. So that's our take on ghosting.
Episode 1 complete.
I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I hope that you've taken some advice from it. I hope that we've maybe made some people feel good about some situations that they're in right now, because it is hard out there.
It is, and I'm so happy that you took the time to listen.
Yeah. And
we're excited to get this show on the road.
Yeah. So please tune in next week when we come up with another episode.
Every Thursday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.